Poppin', y'all. This is DJ with One Shot Game, man. You already know how the motto go. You get one shot at life, but a lifetime to learn all the game you need to help improve your life. The choice is yours on which route you choose to take. Now, as I always say, you get two choices. The ability to settle in the life that has been faithfully set out for you, or the ability to pave a path towards your destiny. That choice is also up to you. So before I get into the title of my video, I want to say a big shout out to all my supporters. You guys are great. And even the ones behind the scenes, I see you too. So look, this is going to be the second part to understanding how to control your energy, and how my observation became clear on knowing how to understand it. For example, I used to be in a toxic relationship, right? And when you're in a toxic relationship with somebody who enjoys putting you down to make them feel good about themselves, they basically want you to stay around that while they say everything they need to say to make you get to your lowest. Anytime you want to run or get away, they start hiding your keys. They want to take your phone so you can sit there and take their abuse. You know what I'm saying? Because they do not want you to run away and feel as if you better than them because of how they feel about themselves. They've already willed you in. They need you to feel the disrespect of emotional abuse to feel good about who they are. You know what I'm saying? And they will not understand in the least bit of you running away. Like, they will do everything they can to make sure you don't run off. And I say that to say, like, when arguments used to get too toxic and I realized, like, listen, we ain't getting nowhere. You feel one way, I feel one way. We fighting. Nothing is gonna come out of that but emotion, not understanding. So how about you allow me to get away for a little while and come back when you calm down? Listen, a person that is very fueled off of emotional abuse, they do not like that, because you trigger their abandonment wound now. You know what I'm saying? So on top of them already having a bad day and wanting to trigger you instead of looking at themselves, you leave them. Now they suffer from another wound, which is abandonment. You done got them fired up. Now they completely upset. They don't know what to do. So they will do everything they can to prevent that. And you just got to be smarter than them. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you hide your keys and hide your phone when you feel argument coming on. But first things first, before you even have to put up with that, understand and talk to a person. There is nothing that could be solved in a fit of rage. When someone is arguing and having an argument, there is nothing that can be solved in that little bit of rage. It's just emotional abuse of each other and emotions raging and not knowing how to control them. We cannot find a solution to what triggered you because you're too busy in a rage. You know what I'm saying? So I think the most important thing is to allow someone to have the space to calm down so that you can approach the situation in a calm manner and get a solution in a calm way. I've experienced it in life. There is no solution you can get by arguing. Arguing is stupid. I've realized in my life. I've done it so much. Only thing that happens is it escalates. And when it escalates, the arguing goes to violence. And then the violence goes to possibly death if you allow it to. You have to allow a person to have the ability to calm down, to figure out who they are, or the ability to see for yourself, this is not right for me, and get out before that person blows their top. Because the longer you let it go on, I swear the arguments are only going to get worse. The toxicness is only going to get worse. You know what I'm saying? You have to allow people the space to be able to be themselves. You know what I'm saying? I promise you, they'll get it. They'll get it. They'll understand it. You know what I'm saying? Alone. Oftentimes when you're not there. Listen, people that verbally and emotionally abuse you, they know exactly what they're doing. Oftentimes they've had that same type of treatment, or they get a kick out of doing it to you, and they pointed you out the moment they seen you. A person that's good-hearted is going to take this emotional abuse. I know they are. Listen, it's almost rare that you find someone that's emotionally abusive with someone else that's emotionally abusive. It's very rare. Usually a person who knows they're emotionally abusive tends to latch on to the one they know is going to take that treatment. So now it's up to you to find out when to cut it off. You gotta just get to a point where you just completely unsatisfied with a person talking down on you and making you feel less than. You know what I'm saying? Because I promise you, it's someone out there for you that's gonna listen to you and take you serious and love you for you and appreciate the fact that you're not a pushover. You know what I'm saying? People really truly like that in relationships. And if a person don't like it, I promise you it's because they get off on emotional abuse. And their whole intent is to emotionally abuse you. And as long as you stick around, they will keep emotionally abusing you over and over again. It is not until you pull back and separate yourself from the emotional abuser that you be able to figure out who you truly are. You know what I'm saying? And oftentimes your past is constantly in your face until you figure out you don't want no more. And that's when you have to figure out how to react to the situation inside you. It has nothing to do with the other person. You know what I'm saying? It's solely up to you and how you choose to react. You know what I'm saying? I cannot be around a person that's emotionally abusive on a consistent basis, because I've grown out of that space, but I once was that person that took the emotional abuse. You know what I'm saying? So you listen, I'm telling you, it's dangerous and very toxic, you know, and the best way for you to avoid your toxicness is to do what's right for you. You know what I'm saying? Move in a way that is different from how you used to operate. You know what I'm saying? My love for a person used to allow a person to emotionally abuse me. Because of the fact I loved you, I cared about you. You feel me? We can get through this. But not with you putting me down. That's not love. That's you getting a fulfillment out of your emotional abuse. So I got to cut you off and let you figure out if the grass is greener on this other side. At some point, you'll get the point. It ain't green over there. It's blue. And you don't like it. You know what I'm saying? But you're not going to be coming in my circle and constantly abusing me. And after a person gets emotionally abused for so long, they eventually move on. And they want better. And that makes the old person they was with in that old energy very upset, because they thought they had someone that was going to tolerate their abuse for the rest of their life. How dare they go and be happy with someone else? You know what I'm saying? How dare you leave me to go be happy with someone else? In my mind, I gave you everything you wanted aside from the emotional abuse. I gave you everything you wanted over the top of the emotional abuse. So how dare you go and be happy with someone else? That causes a person operating in that old energy and they be in a rage. You know what I'm saying? Because they just can't connect the dots on why a person that they pulled in is happier with someone else. And they never were happy. They just picked out someone that was going to take their emotional abuse. And when you got fed up and didn't take it no more, they stalked you. They became obsessive because they know deep down inside you a good person. They knew that when they started talking to you. They just never thought that you would get tired of the emotional abuse. You know what I'm saying? They thought that they can just sprinkle it on the top with sprinkles every time they get upset, and you tend to ignore the verbal and emotional abuse. So listen, if I were you, I would be careful, because that old energy sometimes becomes very controlling and very possessive. And it's almost as if they do not want you to be happy with anyone else. You know what I'm saying? And they will do whatever they can to keep you around. Whether it's start to control the children they have with you. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm telling you. Listen. They just can't fathom the fact that you outgrew them. For whatever reason, They just can't go and live life somewhere else without having you in the realm of their strings, especially if they've already pulled you off of their old energy. They will not be okay with you moving on. They will not be okay with you being happy with somebody else. So you got to be careful how you move. You can't just be out here thinking you got a free ticket when you've moved away from someone that was emotionally abusive. Because I promise you, they're stalking you. They're trying to figure out where you are, because they just can't understand. To them, they thought they did everything right because they could not see their emotional abuse. They can't see when they're wrong to you. All they see is that them being like that was justifiable on why they were like that. Every time you bring up something, they're going to basically paint a picture of why it was justifiable for them to act like that. Which means they never think that they're the problem. And you leaving them and moving on to be with somebody else that truly makes you happy puts them into a rage, because again, they thought every time they emotionally abused you, it was justifiable for why they did that. It's not a mental health crisis. It's just that they willed you in as a person who would take the emotional abuse. And how dare you grow and get to a point where you don't want to take that no more, because you want more for yourself. That's the part that triggers them. Not the fact that they don't know what they're doing. They're clearly aware of what they're doing. They just thought that you would take it forever. You know what I'm saying? So be aware and be cautious, you know what I'm saying, of the fact that the war we up against right now is turning some people into very insane people, and the real them, when they willed somebody in and that person got to a point where they didn't want to take the emotional abuse no more. In their mind, they know that they're wrong to you, but you took it before. How dare you change now? You were supposed to stay forever and allow me to mentally abuse you, because after I get done, I'm going to go buy you flowers, which will excuse the fact that I am emotionally abusive to you. Didn't that work? The time I emotionally abused you and then gave you a bubble bath and paid for dinner and cooked and took you to the movies, that didn't excuse that behavior? That's what it was supposed to do. I thought I was making you happy. And remember, you triggered me because you decided to hang out with your friend instead of me. That's why I got mad. It wasn't just my fault. I bought you flowers. That wasn't enough. Listen, it's trickery. It's the ability to plagiarize off the person that you've always been, unplug from any emotional way they make you feel, as long as they sprinkle it on top with sprinkles. That's why oftentimes I want to be with the person that can't be bought. I want to be with the person that everybody is not flocking to. For the simple fact, I know that you're real and loyal. When a person can be bought, those are the type of people that you buy them whatever, and they will basically forget the fact that, you feel me, you did them wrong, or they did you wrong. It's sad, but it's real. And I'm just speaking because I've been through it. I was with a very emotionally toxic person who cooked dinner and ran bubble baths and took me to the movies and paid for clothes, but was very emotionally abusive. And I got to a point where I was tired. I didn't want to take it no more. And if a person really can't see the wrong that they do, you become the target and infatuation and obsessiveness for a very long time, because they try to find the person that took their abuse in everybody else. But what if those people are just as equally angry as you, or they don't want to take it no more? Now you go back to thinking like, I know I was emotionally abusive, but you took it. I thought I had the right target. You were supposed to take it. It's forever. No. You know what I'm saying? You have a right to change. You have a right to grow. Don't let nobody trick you. Listen, but make sure you watch your back when you sail off into that carriage with someone new. Because if a person is really possessive over you, if they want to find you, they will. And I think that's the most scary thing about the whole situation, is the fact that, for me personally, you weren't a bad person, but you were very emotionally toxic because you dealt with that growing up. And what that did was turn you into someone that do it to other people. But as long as you cover it up with the gifts and the romance, you couldn't see the fact that you were emotionally abusive. You know, that's draining the life force, because it's not normal. There's not enough things you could buy a person in the world to cover up the fact you hella emotional abusive. And I'm tired. I can't even be happy because you always triggered by something that don't got nothing to do with me. You just picked the right candidate to take your emotional abuse. Well, listen, that road has ended. This trip is over. You know what I'm saying? You can go do that with someone else, but it's hard to be emotionally abusive to someone that's also emotionally abusive, because now y'all just playing tricks on each other. That's no fun. The emotionally abusive person doesn't want to go head up with someone that's just like them. They want to go head up with someone that takes it. So you don't have a right to get fed up and leave them behind. You know what I'm saying? Because in their mind, everything is right, everything is calculated, everything is absolute with the people they pick, the people they're around, the people that take their shit. You know what I'm saying? They never think for 1 second that they're doing anything wrong, because it's always justifiable. And in their head, they know that they're doing wrong and they're not treating people in the right way. But to them, they don't see it that way. They unplug from the emotional drain it causes you to be able to take the gain away from what it gives them. It's not a mental health crisis. It's people doing what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? They pick out the target in the beginning. You're going to love me even after I emotionally abuse you. I know that. That's why I picked you. But the part that's hard for them to understand is the part where you finally don't want to take their shit. You know what I'm saying? And they become these people that are completely somebody else. Like, you know how, like, sometimes people go in a rage and then they calm down after a while, and they come in and be like, I got mad because of this, or I did this because you did this. You know what I'm saying? That's only because they're trying to keep it together so you'll stay. You know what I'm saying? Because they know if you see the extent of who they really are, you might not want to be with them no more. You know what I'm saying? So it's up to you to pay attention to those signs. If it keep happening on a frequent basis, I'm telling you, it's gonna be that one time where it goes bad. You feel me? Get out. Leave. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't, it can get worse in a quick second. And I'm talking about especially right now in life. People are having a hard time having to see themselves in a mirror, because they never thought that they would have to see themselves. So instead of seeing themselves, they're going after the person that triggered them to see themselves, because they put an end to their bullshit and they sailed off into the moonlight happy, either with someone else or by themselves. You know what I'm saying? For real. And it's scary to think that. It's scary when you know that you're a good person and you just, want people to respect you the way you respect them. But it's hard to understand that maybe you were the best thing somebody had and that they just can't get over you. So now they know that you don't want to be with them. It turns into an infatuation, into making sure that they get you. And if you don't want them, they make sure you're not good for nobody else. It's sad, but it's a very real thing. You know what I'm saying? So if I were you, I'd do whatever you need to do to protect yourself. Do whatever you need to do to keep yourself safe. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some people out there that don't want to see you happy if it ain't with them. You feel me? So listen, if you don't know what it is, I just told you. Please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe.